Are you ready to unlock growth, build resilience, and confidently take the next step in leadership, career, and faith? Welcome to The Next Move. I'm Orvin Kimbrough, a CEO, author, and leader with a passion for helping people and organizations thrive. My journey from foster care to CEO has fueled my mission to help professionals scale their confidence, leadership, and influence through mindset shifts, expanded networks, and bold action. Each week, I'll share reflections ripped straight from my blog to inspire and empower you with actionable insights. Let's get started and make your next move your best move. Welcome back to The Next Move, the podcast where we explore faith, leadership, and personal growth to help you take your next step with purpose and confidence. I'm your host, Orvin Kimbrough, and today's episode, well, it's one that I've lived. It's one that I wrestle with. And finally, it's one that I've learned to grow through. It's called Do Only What Only You Can Do. Do only what only you can do. Why real leaders let go. Let's be real. There is a kind of leadership that, well, I can't put it any other way. There's a kind of leadership that wears you down. It doesn't look toxic on the surface. In fact, it can look like hustle. It can look like commitment. It can even look like excellence. But underneath it, it's often that four-letter word, fear. It's the fear of letting go. It's the fear of being seen as unnecessary. It's the fear that something or someone will fall apart without us. You know, I used to believe that being a good leader meant, well, it meant being everywhere. It meant being everywhere at once. If there was a problem, guess who showed up? I showed up. If a team member was struggling, guess who jumped in? I jumped in. If someone dropped the ball, guess who caught it? I caught it as often as I could catch it. I tried to catch it each and every time. On the surface, that looked like strength. But if I'm honest, it wasn't strength. That was fear in a nice suit. Fear that if I stepped back, I let someone down, or worse, be seen as less valuable. Man, it took years and some tough, necessary conversations for me to realize holding on wasn't helping. It was actually hurting. It was keeping others from rising. And it was silently exhausting me in ways I didn't even recognize. So let me ask you, are you leading or are you just busy? Because most leaders don't fail from a lack of effort. Guess what? They fail from doing too much of what others could do. Because letting go, it can feel like losing control. One of the most powerful leadership lessons I've ever learned is this. Do only what only you can do. It sounds simple, right? But it's deeply uncomfortable, especially in high achieving spaces where our worth is often associated, it's often measured, it's often counted by how much we can do what? Just do. Just do. This principle, well, it's not just about delegation. It's about trust. It's about identity. It's about the courage to shift from doing the work to enabling others to do the work. I'm not saying that you become ivory tower. I'm simply saying that you create the conditions for others to do the work. Let me share a quick story. I spoke with a leader who said to me, Orv, I want to go to the next level, but I just don't know how. And he was grasping. So I asked him, well, how are you spending your time? He paused and he thought about the question. It wasn't a trick question. He said, well, I'm spending my time, I'm in the weeds. I'm doing most of the work myself instead of training my people so they can grow. So he had that realization. And I told him something that I'll share with you now. If you don't let go, if you don't let go, you will never grow. You got to let go. Did you catch that? You can't move to the next level while clinging to the last one. You've got to let go. Many of us struggle. Many of us struggle to let go. Not because we are bad leaders. We struggle to let go because we care too much. We care an awful lot. And folks, we cling to the tasks that we are good at. Come on. Now, the things that once made us feel capable, the things that once made us feel competent, the thing that once made us feel needed and heroic. But real leadership isn't about proving your value. It's not about proving your value through activity. It's about amplifying the value of others. You want to create space and a platform for others to grow. Here's a simple question I've learned to ask myself. If someone else can do this well, why am I still doing it? If someone else can do this well, why am I still doing it? If someone else can do this well, why are you still doing it? If you've never asked that question, now is a good time. When I became CEO of United Way, I had a reckoning. As executive VP, I had my hands in everything, major gifts and strategy and marketing and program design. I actually prided myself on how much I could juggle. I got up early and went to bed late. But as CEO, I realized something. The stakes were different. My assignment was different. My job it wasn't simply to do the work anymore. My job, your job, my job was to set the direction. My job, your job was to remove barriers. My job, your job was to build capacity. During a leadership assessment, the feedback was sharp and it was honest. It was going to be hard for me to scale. You are too close to the operational details. This was the feedback I got. You're too close. You've got to pull up. That stung because I thought I was doing a decent job. And maybe I was, and maybe you are. But if you're going to scale, you gotta pull up. So they were right. I had to grieve the belief that being involved in everything meant I was indispensable. I needed to hire well. I needed to trust boldly, and I needed to focus only on what I could do. That's something I still think about, it's something I think about every day. I think about this every single day in my current role at the bank. How do we go to the next level if I am focused on every detail? How do we go to the next level if you don't push certain tasks and responsibilities down to your team? Every day offers opportunities for me to insert myself. There are meetings, there are decisions, there are conversations I could lead. But just because I could, it doesn't mean that I should. Folks, leadership requires something. It requires restraint. It requires intentionality. Leadership, well, it requires you knowing your highest value. It requires that you stay anchored there. That's discipline. Now, when somebody asks me for a meeting today, I ask myself a simple question. Am I truly the best person for this meeting? Or is there someone else better positioned to help? And often there is someone else better positioned to help. And when I redirect those conversations, folks, something powerful happens. I'm not less involved. I'm actually more effective. And I make space for my team to rise. I create the conditions for them to stretch their leadership, to expand their perspective. You know, one thing that's helped me let go when I think very practical about this is systems. I am a big proponent of having systems around us. You know, systems like SOPs or standard operating procedures, systems like transition plans that give me insight into what is going to happen. I'm a big fan of systems like scoreboards. I have a scoreboard at the top of the house and I cascade that scoreboard throughout the entire organization. So at any point, I can take a glance at what is happening. Like dashboards, these systems are helpful. They're not flashy, but they work. These tools keep me informed without being entangled. They give me and they give my team a structure. They give me and they give my team a freedom. So if you're somewhere quiet, right now, take a moment. Look, I'm trying to push us forward. I'm trying to help us scale. I'm trying to help us make the next move. Take a moment, pull up your calendar, glance at your inbox. And it doesn't matter what level you are. If you have people who you are responsible for, glance at your inbox, look at your calendar, and ask yourself, what am I still doing that someone else could be doing, that someone else could be learning to own? What am I holding on to just because I've always done it? I'm holding on to it just because it's always been here. Here's the thing that is so important for each of us. I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to you. So important. Leadership isn't about managing every detail. You heard this earlier. It's about building a platform and getting out of the way. That's what I see my job as. I build a platform and I get out of the way and let people lead. I once mentored a rising leader. He was sharp, he was capable, he was passionate, but kept hitting the wall. He was tired. He was burned out. He said, my team isn't stepping up. But when I look closer, folks, it wasn't a team problem. It was a space problem. It was a him problem. There was no room. He created absolutely no room for others to rise because this leader was everywhere doing everything, because this leader didn't want to let go, because this leader wanted to feel indispensable, wanted to feel knowledgeable about everything. They weren't letting go. I encouraged him to delegate 3 specific things. And within 2 months, his team was more engaged, and this leader looked lighter, looked scalable. Sometimes your team's growth is waiting. Sometimes your team's growth is waiting on your release. So let me bring this home. In Exodus 18, you remember, Moses is doing everything. Moses is settling every dispute. Moses is handling every issue. And his father-in-law finally tells him, what you are doing, Moses, what you're doing is not good. You will surely wear yourself out, both you and these people who are with you. That wasn't a rebuke of Moses' heart. It was a redirection of his habit. The solution wasn't more effort. It rarely is. The solution, it was shared leadership. The solution, it was trust. The solution, it was letting go. Let go. Let go. So I'll ask you, what's one thing, just one, what's one thing that you need to let go of this week? What are you holding that someone else is more than capable to carry? What's weighing you down that God never asked you to hold? Start there. Let go. Breathe. Trust. Pray. Pause. Release. Because when you release what's not yours to hold, when you release what's not yours to hold, you've got to release it. When you release it, others rise. And so do you. Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. That's Psalm 55:22. Folks, that's it for today's episode of The Next Move. If this message spoke to you, I'm asking you to do a favor and just share it with a friend, share it with a colleague, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Remember this. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do only what you only can do. Until next time, lead well. Thank you for tuning in to The Next Move. I hope today's reflection inspired you to take the next step in your leadership, career, or faith journey. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need a little encouragement this week. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you'd like more reflections or resources, visit orvinkimbrough.com or theaccidentalbanker.com. Until next time, remember, every step you take brings you closer to thriving. Let's keep moving forward together.